Hello, thanks for joining me, and today I've got another movie video. This one is video number 2 of 4 that's based on challenges set by Huck's Pop Culture Cafe. So about a month ago he posted a video, or 4 videos, where he's presented a challenge as if you're going to a desert island and you can take movies along with you, but there's 4 different sets of those. So the first video I've already uploaded, which is an A to Z list of movies with one numbered pick as well, and today it's going to be going through 25 actors that you can take, and one movie that represents those actors, and the key thing is you cannot use the same films that you have already used in a different challenge. So without any further ado, let's get into it. In no particular order, just going to show these as they come. And also, once I've done mine, as with my movie A to Z, my sister had to go with this as well, so she's also sent me a list, so I'll go through those after I've gone through mine. Okay, first up, Kirk Douglas in Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory. Fantastic film. Next, got to have some Tom Hanks, and I think his performance in Captain Phillips is just brilliant, especially at the end. It's so moving. Superb film. Next, got to have some Michael Caine, so what better than Get Carter. Next, I think he's a little bit underappreciated, but Richard Widmark in the 50s had some great films such as Pick Up on South Street and Panic in the Streets, and I've gone for this one, The Street with No Name. Next, perhaps not an obvious choice, but and he's well known for his directing, but actor Richard Attenborough, and I've gone for his brilliant performance in Guns at Patazi. Next, this is just a good fun film. I really enjoy it, and it showcases as well the great acting of Elliot Gould, Capricorn 1. Next, another British actor who don't really hear about so much nowadays, but he was in a lot of tough, gritty films back in the 50s and 60s, and I've gone for Stanley Baker in Robbery. Next, coming up to more recent years, this is an actor who we haven't seen a lot of yet, but I think he's due to be starring in a new adaptation of James Clavell's Shogun. But I've gone for Cosmo Jarvis in, well, this one's called The Shadow of Violence, but it's also known as Calm with Horses. I thought he was fantastic in this. Next, a bit of Cary Grant, and I've gone for the classic Hitchcock, North by Northwest. So much fun. Next, really hard to choose which performance to pick from this, but I've gone for Jeff Bridges in the fantastic Fabulous Baker Boys. Love this film. Next, perhaps not an obvious choice for an actor list, but I just really want, I almost went for this as a director choice, but I just really want to highlight some love for Michael Paré in Streets of Fire. This is a Walter Hill film with Diane Lane in it as well, a rock and roll fable. It's so much fun, and I think Michael Paré is just brilliant in this. Maybe he might not have the best body of work outside of this, although Eddie and the Cruisers and Philadelphia Experiment are good, but he's just superb in this. I love it. Next, fantastic actor, and I think this film was really underappreciated. It's got a great cast, but his performance particularly is superb, and that's John C. Reilly in The Sisters Brothers. Next, so many fine performances to choose from, but this is a more recent favourite of mine, which I love rewatching, and that's Christian Bale in Ford versus Ferrari. Next, the fantastic actor Gregory Peck. Again, lots of choices I could have gone for, but I've gone for The Big Country. Next, this is such a brilliant film. I think you can watch it on the Criterion channel at the moment, but yeah, Robert Ryan in the great boxing film The Setup. Next, I absolutely have to have John Wayne, as I pretty much grew up watching loads of John Wayne films, so I've gone for the classic Rio Bravo. It's fantastic. Next, this is a really intense drama, and again his performance is just really moving in this, and that's Casey Affleck in Manchester by the Sea. Next, I've got to split my set out to be able to take this movie with me, but I've gone for the great Alec Guinness, and a particular movie of his is The Man in the White Suit, which I really love. But yeah, such a fine actor. Next, again this could have gone on my movie A to Z under the D, but I can't remember what I chose for that now. But yeah, got to have Bruce Willis in Die Hard. I mean, in terms of a performance in an action film, it's just the best there is. So good. Next, got to have Paul Newman, and great choice here is Cool Hand Luke. And of course, got to have the great Henry Fonda, and what better choice than 12 Angry Men. And just moving on to a few titles I've got on Laserdisc as well. I absolutely have to include this actor, as he was pretty much what watching this film is what got me interested in movies in the first place, and that's Gene Hackman in The French Connection. Yeah, and next up is an actor, perhaps not an obvious choice, but he was one that is just memorable to me when I was young, in a TV series called The Fear. He's more recently known for being in Game of Thrones, and this particular film is one which I just think needs a bit more love and attention, but it's Ian Glenn, and he's in Mountains of the Moon, about the search for the Nile. Absolutely fantastic adventure film. Next, how can I not include Sean Connery? And I've gone for Goldfinger. And also for some classic action adventure, got to have Harrison Ford in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then finally, I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning, but the other part of the challenge here was, so it's 25 actors, but then also one ensemble pick. So, a film that's got a cast of male actors. So for that, the obvious choice that sprung to mind for there is a real Christmas favourite, and that's The Great Escape. Okay, so moving on to my sister's choices. Now, she doesn't have a physical media collection. She's just taking part in this for fun, thinking about whatever movies she can, and then I look to see if I have them in my collection. Only 3 here that I don't have, so I'll just go through those first. So first of all, Richard E. Grant, she chose in Can You Ever Forgive Me? Good choice, good film. John Cusack was another choice in Serendipity, which I thought I have, but I don't. And the other one which I don't have, and I can't even remember if I've seen it, but it's Peter Dinklage in The Station Agent. But moving on to the rest of the choices, which I do have in my collection, so here we go. She chose Will Smith in I Am Legend. She chose Roberto Benigni in Life is Beautiful. She chose Colin Firth in The King's Speech. And the great Gene Kelly in An American in Paris. She also chose from the great action franchise The Bourne films, Matt Damon in The Bourne Identity. She also chose a film that was one of my A to Z choices, Kevin Costner in Dances with Wolves. Back with the dancing, she chose Fred Astaire in The Gay Divorcee. She chose Mad Max with Mel Gibson. She chose George Clooney in Ocean's 11. She chose Jim Broadbent for his role in Paddington. And sticking with the Paddington theme, she chose Ben Whishaw in No Time to Die. She chose Tom Cruise, starring alongside Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man. Okay, and next is a bit of a tenuous choice. This is an actor, maybe not so well known, but he used to be quite big in a series called El Dorado. He's got an uncredited role in this film, which is Quadrophenia. She chose Brad Pitt in one of his early films, Thelma and Louise. Another of her favourite actors is Cillian Murphy. She chose Sunshine. And she went for Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street. And some classic Hitchcock. She chose James Stewart in Vertigo. She also chose Jake Gyllenhaal in Zodiac. And Tom Hanks, I went for Captain Phillips. She's gone for Big. And a few of my Laserdisc titles. She went for Henry Thomas in E.T. Oh golly gosh, she went for Hugh Grant in 4 Weddings and a Funeral. And another of my A to Z choices, but she's chosen Gérard Depardieu as actor for Jean de Florette. And then finally for her ensemble pick, this is a film I haven't watched in a while, but it's Ted Danson, Steve Guttenberg and Tom Selleck in 3 Men and a Baby. Okay, so there we go. That's now the actors one done. Thanks again to Huck for doing the challenge on this. It's been quite good fun. And next up, I will look at doing the actresses, and then there's also going to be one for directors. So 25 actresses, 25 directors. If you want to do this challenge yourself, I mean, a number of people have already done it, including go and watch their videos. KB Loves Movies, 20th and 21st Movies, Convicted Cinephile, Basement Blues, Mid-Level Media, etc, etc. So look up all those other videos and go and check those out. You'll probably come across those before you come to mine, because I've got a pretty small channel here. Yeah, hopefully you'll stick by for the next videos that'll be coming up. As you can tell, I don't normally speak on YouTube. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.